And good afternoon, YouTube world. Admiral Preparedness here. Just got back from a dollar store run. I want to talk about adding to your bug out bag on items that you want to custom add to yours. You don't have to, there's no rules to follow when it comes to adding items to your bug out bags. These here are just off the top of my beam while I was walking around looking things over. We'll talk about each one individually. For the time being, I do want to show you that it wasn't very expensive at all. $9. I did buy some seeds, but we'll talk about those in a minute. There are a few things here I'd like to show individually and talk about. And some of the things you've seen before on other sites where they show you some things that you want to put in your bug out bag to have. Of course, something you always want to have is some form of first aid kit, and this one here is one of the most simplest ones you can get. It has your standard packaging. It has the nice small case that is able to hold the items necessary for your emergency need. The antiseptic pads, some small, very small cut band-aids, bug bite band-aids. You get a couple of those bug bite band-aids, nice to have, and several small type bandages for those small wounds or bug bites, like we said earlier, bug bites. And then your standard cut tile style, you get a staple or you get something stuck in your hand and you got to use something to get that wound covered. What I will add to this when I have the time is antiseptic ointment to go with the box, but since this is $1, you're not really going to get much. Like anything else, you pay for what you get. A glasses repair kit, I highly recommend if you wear glasses. It's got the small screws, the temple pads, your different size screwdrivers, which is essential, small magnifying glass, and of course a cleaning pad. Now this is your bug bite relief. It's like a septic pen. If any of you know what that is, you push down on it and it releases the medicine around your bug bite. Of course, we all know about hand sanitizers. I'm telling you, 3 for $1, that's not bad at all. This is a lot of quantity to go around. It's also nice to have. A nice pocket flashlight, takes 3 AA batteries. We'll demonstrate that in another video. These are these little inexpensive, they're not really the best in the world, but they can get you by. You don't want to hang a lot of weight from them, but carabiners for small things. You can actually use these for limbs to put on trees, hang stuff from limbs of trees, or making yourself makeshift above ground. Keep the critters off your food if you're going to hang food from a tree or some other item. Nice to have. But this is kind of what I was looking for. The bug out bag I showed you in a previous video did not have anything to carry other than the bag itself, and I really didn't want to contaminate that bag to when you go out and you're out foraging. This one's used for clothing. You can take it and wash your clothes in a river or a pond or stream or wherever. Put your clothes in the water, get them, agitate them. But I'll tell you what, it's a pretty nice little, it's not bad. It's a 36 inch by 24 inch, has a drawstring. It's great for laundry, great for sporting goods, great for whatever. But I'll tell you what, it's great for carrying things while you're out foraging and to keep things secure. Like I said before, with a carabiner, these can work hand in hand, where you're actually putting something in this guy and you're holding this guy up to hold it from falling or whatever. $9, folks. That's not bad at all for a flashlight, bug relief, hand sanitizer, and a first aid kit. At your regular little stores. That some of these items didn't look like they were there very long, and some of them have been there a long time. And saying that, we're going to talk about seeds. Lucky enough to find some seeds there. I'm going to demonstrate. I talked about in my previous video the vertical farming I'm going to try to do again this year. These were, you got 8 for $2. And let me tell you something, when you're looking for something to eat, if you've grown it yourself, they will do a lot better because you're going to constantly pay attention to them, and you're going to find out that in your area where you're growing food, that you're going to find yourself staying busy with your garden. Plus, you're going to find yourself enjoying those foods that you grow yourself, because nothing like growing your own food. The best part about gardening is, anybody can do it. That's been proven for the last 40 plus thousand years. You have your peppers. Now, these all grow outside. They're not underground, because paleo is a way that I've been consuming my vegetables lately. They do take, some of these take time to grow, but you may get one season from them. You may get many different crops from them. But the key is, these guys here, you can harvest the seeds. These guys here, you can harvest the seeds because the tomato family put out seeds. The cucumbers also put out seeds, so they're a good, excellent place to find seeds. Now, what's nice about this company here is they give you a 800 number to call. They give you a website to call. They have the growing details, which pretty much everybody who puts out seed packets will give you a growing season condition information on the back as to where you want to grow. The print here is pretty small, so for guys like me who have a hard time seeing things that are so small, you're going to have to get a magnifying glass, or what I do is scan it into my computer, and then that way I've got it in a format where I could actually enlarge it and look at it and store it and save it, keep it in my database. What I do with these guys here is I'll put them under a vacuum, unopened. I may slice a small hole to release the air so this thing can become a vacuum, because if you haven't noticed, I like to do a lot of things in vacuum. It preserves them. And the reason why I'll say that is because back in the day, NASA had one time put a long duration exposure facility, pre-Challenger, up into space. It was only supposed to stay there a year. Now it had, if you look up long exposure, LDEF is what it was called, duration exposure facility. It was released by one of the space shuttles into orbit. It had paint and some other things, but also had a place where seeds would be able to be in a vacuum and exposed to the cosmic rays. And then those seeds were brought back to Earth after the return to space, after the Challenger accident was fully investigated. And those seeds were divvied out to universities and to different research facilities. As a matter of fact, I do believe, correct me if I'm wrong out there, but I think Walt Disney World at that time, at their Epcot, the Earth, the planet, the green place where they grow stuff, their pavilion, they did have a place where they were actually allowed to take some of those space samples and actually bring them into full growth. So when I put them under a vacuum, I'm pretty much containing them in a suspended animation. Now, of course, we all know the seeds have a shelf life, so you really don't want to wait too long. These here have a shelf life of, well, they want you to have them out of the store by 12/17 of this year, which is kind of late in the season when you're trying to grow something. But for me, what I'll do is take some of these seeds out. And if you don't remember one of my videos where I talked about egg carton greenhouse, that's where these will get started. So we'll go and do a video how I get that going with these very seeds. So you guys stay with me through this next springtime, and we'll grow these together. Okay now. So lesson saying that now. Today's what is today? I don't even know. No big deal to me. I don't even have a wristwatch. So it's whatever time it is. Admiral preparedness here. Take care of your family. Take care of your country. It's the only two things you know you have.